Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Karen Newman. This is the Saturday Human Colony Hucolo webinar. It is Saturday, the 4th of September, 2021. And we have today our very wonderful, very nice, very kind, very awesome special channel, Jim Charles, with us here today.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
And we have a lot of people in the room, more people coming in, but we have Angie, Jim, Susan, Barbara, Christine, David, Elga, Luba, Ian, Joan, Shear, Stephanie, Summer, Susan, and more people coming in as we speak. So welcome, everybody. Today we're going to start with some announcements. Angie?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. We have our next class schedule, White Magic Level 3. You must have taken Level 1 and Level 2. I did want to put out there that if you have not yet taken Level 1 or 2, you can reach out to me, classes@hucolo.org, and you can get the recording. And then that could get you at least started on the White Magic. We are doing Level 3. October 23rd and 24th, 1:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. The cost is $175. And to register for the class, send an email to classes@hucolo.org, and I will get all that information out to you.
Okay, perfect. Right. So let me see. We're going to start with some blessings. I sent a message, hi to everyone in the YouTube chat. I just asked you if you have any requests. In the meantime, while we're doing the blessings, if you can type them in, because I will be reading them after the prayers. So, okay, we'll go Barbara, Susan, Angie for blessings. So.
Tatakatia tatoko tato katakana taktitia tokota toka tapaka taktikadiato katatakana katitika tapatakata takatokodokodo kititidia tatataka takatopata katakatikati kishkitia takodoko taktiki tipada takataka taktikati shititia tatakodo tatkarat parata kidi kititidia takodoko tatati tata kipita taktikati. Thank you.
We are here to send energy, prayers, love, compassion, and to build you up. We see that there is so much negativity that you need to be surrounded by more light and more love and more understanding, because it is hard to move forward without it. And so we are here to bring that to you. We are here to support you and let you know that there are others out here that understand this kind of growth, because we have gone through it as well. And we understand it, so we can help you move through it. Please do not give up. And please do not turn people away, because God wants everyone to hear about his word, his love, and his understanding.
Thank you. Susan.
Poesia, sequoia, sequia, tokoya, here sequoia, sia, tokoya, sequoia, sequoia, here sequoia, tokoya, sequitia, or sequia, sequoia, tokoya, tokoya, here sequoia, tokoya, sequoia, 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 dias, yes, sequoia, dias, sequoia, sequia. Blessed.
Yes. You are living in a world of great separation, great disunity. You must find a way to unite again. I know and understand that there are great misunderstandings, great pain associated with some of these things. But remember this: God does not judge anyone on their kindness, love, goodness, and reaching out to one another, but he will judge you on your unkindness, your disloyalty, and your ways of not bringing people to the light.
Angie.
Wasasanaya taya tokwaya. Wasanaya takatiasa. Wasisanai siyayata. Wasasana aita soa. Usayana taya takatukwaya.
Let all who hear our voice understand that we are positive beings. We love you and God, and that we are here to support and help. We know that it is a time of great difficulties all around your planet, and so we lift you up in prayer and thoughts. Be with us also as we have our own difficulties, and that we have our times of thought processes that are not positive. But we will support you in all ways.
Thank you. Okay. We have some requests. I'll read them. We have Elijah, Zella, someone with good news, this request. Grendel, Blue Avian, Tukur, Shell, Archangel Michael, someone from Lyra, a new Earth Dragon, and from the YouTube chat, we have a request for Rumi or Ashtar, and then someone requested Mother God.
Okay.
Okay, quite a list now. Yeah.
Yes. Could you read it again, please?
Sure, absolutely. We have Grendel, Elijah, Zella, someone with good news, Tukur, Shell, Archangel Michael, someone from Lyra, could be Tukur, a new Earth Dragon, and then Rumi, Ashtar, or Mother God.
Okay.
And
That's a
Ish.
big list. Yes.
Yeah.
Get in line.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They have to figure out the order, not me, so that's good. So, all right, hold on, and I will bring through whoever comes first here.
Okay. Great.
Greetings, I am Elijah.
Welcome, Elijah.
Welcome today. So many times you hear about all that is wrong with your planet. So many times you hear all the negative things about it. So many times you disconnect even from positive people because you feel that they are supporting the wrong things. You must open your eyes. Stop looking and see. You must understand that vision is part of this new age. Some of you have it and some of you do not. Some of you claim to have it and you do not. But remember this, seeing and vision are two different things. Seeing is just looking and seeing and maybe interpreting things in a different way than they are actually happening. Because if you would ask somebody at a site of an accident what happened, you would get 10 different explanations, and they all saw it from their own angle. You are one of those angles. You see it from your own perspective. But when you look and use the vision of God to see what is right and what is wrong, that is a different kind of sight. It is the sight that comes from beseeching and seeking God, knowing that He is with you and sending out the love that is necessary in the world today, seeing the good in the situation and not always the bad, seeing the love that can be there and not necessarily the hate, seeing what good things can come from these things that are happening around you and not seeing the devastation necessarily. Of course, you will see these things because your sight goes to those things. But in God, his vision sees beyond that and knows that there is a greater message beyond all things that are being seen. Now, that may be difficult for some people to understand, the difference between seeing and the vision of God. But remember this, keep your mind on him and your vision will be clearer. Some of you look for clairvoyance and sight beyond the normal, but yet you can't even see what's happening in your own world, not in the truth of it. Oh yes, you'll say, I see all the negativity and I see all the things that are going wrong, but you're not seeing the path forward necessarily. Perhaps you are seeing some of it, but that is what you should be looking for. You should be looking for the path forward. You should not be looking for the devastation. You should not be looking for the hatred. You should not be looking for the things that will bring you down and scramble your brains and make you confused and bring you into a negative thought process. But you should be looking and striving for the vision of God. Keep that in mind as we move forward, because there are changes coming. There is what you would call more anguish and more problems, but look through it to where God is. Look through it to the beauty that will come from it. People working together, people saving lives, people bringing forth positive love and understanding to people that don't even know. Do not just look at the devastation, but look at what is being done to bring love and camaraderie to the earth through these things. Seeing and vision are two different things. Keep in mind also how I could go into so many other things right now from that very thought process. But I'm saying, oh, how long do you want to be here today? And so I'm going to cut it a little bit short. But I do want you to know that I want you to have vision. I want you to see beyond. I want you to know beyond. I want you to feel beyond. You see, all these things are part of enlightenment in God, seeking out God in the sense that he is a part of you, a fullness within you. You see, no one can understand vision until they know God. No one can understand true sight until God is seeing for you, being the vision for you. You see, you integrate with God, God integrates with you, and there is a change. There is a change that happens when this happens, because his spirit is different than human spirits. His love is different than human love. His understanding is different than human understanding. So you must give yourself to God so that he can work in you and give himself to you. You see, you must have a mutual agreement. You must work together. You must grow and expand together. Because if you're expanding without God, that can be a good thing as well. You're gaining knowledge, understanding, and things that are necessary for you. But when you're expanding with God, you're gaining power. You're gaining wisdom. You're gaining compassion beyond the earthly ways. You're gaining mercy for people. You're gaining all the things that are virtues of God that you are not really virtues of mankind. see. See into the future. Visualize into the future with God, because God is not seeing through earthly eyes. God is not looking at things with earthly understanding. God does not really understand human beings completely, because just like man builds his machines, he does not quite understand how they work sometimes, but they work. But he wants to know more and more about his people. And the best way to do that is become part of them, become interfaced with them, and grow inside of them. Call on God to be in you, not just with you, but in you. Feel him, know him, use him. Now, this may be a strange message for some people, but their sight is destroying what they are doing. They're seeing too much damage. They're seeing too much destruction. They're seeing too much hatred. They're learning too much negativity. Now, with God, they can look beyond it. They see it, but it is not the same. It is something different. They see it as the growing process of God's word in the world. Not that he wants to use negativity, but it is there to bring people together and not separate people. It is there to bring forces together for help, for companionship, for saving people, for bringing life, for many different things. Look at it in a positive way, if you can. And you say, well, that's sick. How can I look at it that way when so many people are dying or so many people are doing this? But it's bringing people to a different understanding of who God is. And hopefully that understanding is positive, not negative. I know it will be positive for some and will be negative for some. But God wishes that people come together. God wishes that people understand each other, no matter what their views of politics are, no matter what their views of a shot is, no matter what they view the disease is or a mask. These things are set aside. They're not evil. Masks are not evil. People are evil. You must understand, I want people to follow in the steps of goodness, kindness, beauty, helping, reaching out, bringing one person to the other. All these other things are secondary, and they should not be fought about. You should have your own opinion, follow your own opinion, and heck with arguing about it with anybody else, because they will have their own opinion and you have yours. And nothing is going to change that. No matter how much you argue, no matter how much you plead with them, no matter how much you give the facts, they are going to believe what they believe, and you are going to believe what you believe. And why should that separate you? You should come together in the love of God. You should come together in the love for mankind and the survival of the species and the way that things should be. Of course, everybody's going to have their own opinions and always have. So why is now different? Why is now everybody's opinion turns people off or makes people mad or makes them hate each other? That's because they are not listening to God, because God is saying these things don't matter. Do what you believe is right and move on. Do what you think is the good and right thing for you and move on. Don't let anybody tell you anything. Don't argue with them about it, because they're not going to change your mind and you're not going to change theirs. Move on and unite. Move on and unite. Trust each other for who you know they are in God, not who they are on the earth. Trust each other for who you know as trustworthy and honest. And sometimes that honesty hurts people, but at least it's true and honest. But guess what? You are to be forgiving and loving and kind, and let that information help you grow. No matter what is said, it should be a learning tool, not a tool for hatred, not a tool for anger, not a tool for being upset or dividing you from someone else. But you can come together even with different opinions, different thought processes, and different ways of thinking. You can still unite. The world did it before. Why can't they do it again? God needs to intervene on this because it has become so disastrous. God needs to intervene on this because it's become so destructive. God loves you all, and he wants you all to be lifted up. He wants you all to be understood. He wants you all to be one with another. And if you cannot get along, and if you harbor ill feelings one for another, it will never clear up. You have to learn how to forgive. And with that forgiving comes the clearing. If you haven't forgotten, things will bother you. If you haven't forgiven, things will bother you. And then you won't be able to unite with that person because it's bothering you. That's you on you. That is on you. Because that is your way of separating yourself from the troubles. Separating yourself from what hurts me. God does not want that separation. He wants you to learn to understand one another, to get along with one another, to not feel that estrangement from one another. He wants you to unify and love, not separate. But some of you say, oh, well, I have to because I don't want to live that way with people that are just, they bother me, they hurt me, get over it. Love, you will be working with people in the future that will hurt you, that will hate you, that will despise you, but yet you have to love them. How can you possibly do that if you can't even stand people around you that once were friends? God wants unity and love. God wants understanding. God wants beauty. God wants forgiveness. God wants communion and community. Love one another. Treat thy neighbor as thyself. Are you treating your neighbor as yourself if you're saying, I'm never going to talk to them again? Or if I must tolerate them, I will, but I'll only love them if they're close by and I have to deal with them. That's not love. That's tolerance. That's tolerance. You tolerate the people that you dislike, but you don't love them. You say you love them. Oh, I have unconditional love. You don't. You tolerate them because they are there. Learn what unconditional love really is. Learn what unconditional love can really do, because it is not something that separates people, but brings them together. If you unconditionally love the world, they will follow you. They will want to be near you. They will want to flock to you because they see that love within you. They see that compassion and beauty within you. They see that forgiveness in you. They see all the things of positivity within you, and that you're not judging them, because separating yourself from another person is judging them. Oh, yes. Oh, no, I don't mean it to be judgment, but it is. You're not part of my life because I choose you not to be. That's a judgment. The world is confused about love, about unconditional love, about every kind of love, and especially God's love. You are all confused about how to be unconditionally loving, because you think that it's all about how you feel and how God is working in you and everything. And you think everything that I do is right, and that my love is strong, and that everyone sees me loving everybody. No, they don't. They see you separating everybody. They see you judging people. They see you labeling people. Now, some people say, well, I wanted a positive message. This is a positive message, because God's love can cure all of that. God's love can be greater than what you can possibly imagine. It can bring enemies together. It can bring enemies together. God's love can make people put their swords down. God's love can bring those that hate each other together in love and forgiveness. God's love can unite everything, but you have to give it a chance, and you have to live in it. You have to understand it and bring it to you. Now, are you going to separate God from yourself? I hope not. I pray that you bring God into yourself in a greater way than ever before. I hope you understand that there can be a relationship that is very strong and emotional and very giving both ways, but not everything that you feel is right. And God sometimes lets you be wrong. God sometimes lets you be wrong. Why? Because he needs time to work on how to make everything right. Yes, he's working on that. In your lives, if you let him work on that, he will be part of that. Well, I've already been too long-winded as it is. My love to all of you, and please love one another as you love yourself, not love one another as you would have them only love you. Remember, everyone is human here. Everyone has faults and flaws, including myself. But we have to work on these things and bring things together. Bring things together. Be the glue and not the axe. Be the glue and not the axe. Much love to you all.
Much love to you.
Greetings, this is Ish.
Welcome, Ish. How are you?
I am very well. I'm not here to stay very long, but I did hear my name being called, and I haven't visited the webinars for a long time. So
I
thought,
actually asked for you because usually Ian will ask for you, but he didn't. But Ian, do you have a question for Ish or not?
I don't have a specific question, Ish, but I'm always joyful whenever you show up.
Thank
And
you.
Do you have anything specific that you would like to tell us today?
Yes, of course. There are many things. I know many things about what's happening in the galaxy, the universe, and in your solar system and on your planet. So I just wanted to tell you the times are changing, and I think you already know that, but this is more drastic. So be prepared. But bring yourself into, I was listening to Elijah's message, and I agree with him that everyone must unify. In order to survive what is coming on this planet, we must band together and love one another and be one in spirit and I understanding. But it doesn't matter about all your different opinions, but it does matter about your caring for one another. Now, but the other thing is this. I love each and every one of you very much, and I hope that you are understanding that positivity will rule one day. But to get to that positivity, you must fight for it. You must understand that it is not easy to get through what is coming. And so be strong, be loving and kind, and don't worry about the negativity. Just don't worry about it, because the light is what's going to bring you through. Not knowing about what's going to happen with the negativity. Oh, of course, you're going to get intel and people telling you what's going on with negativity, but the positivity is what's going to get you through it. The positivity will get you through it. Any questions?
Yes, there's a question from Angie. Oh, Angie,
Yes.
question
Yes.
answered. Never mind.
Well, I can I can bring it up. I know that you just talked about, the negativity. What I've seen lately is people who are saying that you're negative or that you have a negative attachment or you have been infiltrated by negativity. I just I think that's also going to be a part of what negativity is trying to put on us to keep us down or to keep us, when we know ourselves, to be positive people.
Yes, listen carefully. If someone calls you negative, if someone accuses you of wrongdoing or whatever, evaluate it within yourself. Don't just say you're wrong, because they might have some things that you may need to work on in yourself. But the thing is, those that are judging you, those that are sending you negative information, yes, listen, but do not accept it at face value, you must do a self-evaluation to see what parts of that information are true, if any of it. So, and some of these things are coming from outside sources. They will be saying these things to you because of something they heard from somewhere else. This secondhand information is dangerous, and they will use it against you if somebody else says it. So remember that. Don't think that everybody is telling you God's truth whenever they're gossiping about someone. Remember, there's negativity out there trying to separate people. There's negativity out there trying to make people hate one another. So you must evaluate it for what it is. And you must say, well, what is this? Oh, let me check with that person and see if it's true. Let's check and make sure the information is correct. But you go, how can I trust that it would be correct? Maybe they'll lie to me. But if you know the person well enough, if you're close enough with that person to understand who they are, then you will know when they tell the truth and know when they lie. You will feel it within you. So, but sometimes you need to just listen carefully to hear the truth. Be aware in this day and age that there are many out there that want separation, but you want to bring each other together.
Thank you so much for that. I know that
Yeah.
a lot of people are struggling with this. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's the biggest problem in the world right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I don't have any other further questions for you, Ish.
All right. That's fine. No one has any questions, but I do want to tell you one more thing.
Yes.
You must understand within yourselves, look out at what you have done, who you are separated from, what you are separated from, why you are separated from them, and find a way to unify. Now, many of you say, oh, there's really good reasons why I'm separated from these people and those people and this. I don't trust them. I don't like them. They did something really bad to hurt me. But in order for the world to move forward the way it's supposed to move forward, you must start to unify and not keep things separated. Find a way to love them in a closer way. Find a way to love them so that you can stand them, because they will have to find a way to stand you. So this is information that is important. You will find that you might not be as different as you think. You'll find out that you might not be as misunderstood. They might be more misunderstood than you think, or you may be more misunderstood than they think. Love, compassion, beauty, unconditional love is difficult. And I see that the way some people are handling unconditional love is just not unconditional love. That's all there is to it. So be well, my people, and move forward.
Thank you so much.
I will bring someone else through if there's no questions.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. It was good to be here.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
Uh-oh. I knew it.
Greetings.
Hi.
This is Grendel. Hello.
I would have been surprised if you said some other name.
Well, it was between me and Zella. Zella got shy and she backed off. So
Okay. Well, welcome.
thank you. I heard my name being called, so I decided to come.
Hmm.
So, but I wanted Zella to come first, but she said, no, I don't know, maybe next time. So all right. So she's still getting used to the thought of coming before people. She's not used to it.
Oh, I see. Well, welcome. We have some
All right.
questions for you, especially there was a very nice request and your name came up, but we were looking for someone to give us some really good news.
Good news.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. That's a stretch. All right. All right. All right. Yes, there is some good news. The thing is, it doesn't always seem like good news. So, but the good news is that things are being handled properly at this time by the United States. I believe there's just so many different opinions about how things can be handled. So, but this is from a God-fearing person that we're getting some of this information. Some of it's not so good, but I mean, in the bigger picture, most of it's good. So, anyway, any questions?
Who has a question for Grendel? Christine, did you have a question?
Well, actually, he answered me by saying that what's really going on behind the scenes is good stuff. So thank you.
Yes, it is actually. They're trying to do their best to do
Yes.
what is right for the people and the world. Of course, some people will not see that, but they cry freedom, and then when freedom is being served, then they say that something different. So freedom is being served as best as possible at this time. So if you see it as other than freedom, evaluate what you believe freedom is. So he is trying to follow constitution and things of that nature, and he's trying to be as forthcoming. I know people's personal beliefs come to play in that, but that's where your personal beliefs come into play. You have your personal beliefs and you should not force them on anybody else. So everything should be about freedom and not about your personal choice.
I think what's really nice is this particular, what we're going through now is actually living a person's truth or living by example. We have
Yes.
a better example. And I think that people just can't believe this example after their dark side or whatever you want to call it. It's like giving bullies a chance to run the school. And then all of a sudden, when a new principal is in town and the bullies don't know what to do.
Well, believe me, the bullies are still trying to have their way, and they will not stop trying that. But it is a different way of thinking that is out there now. But don't worry. Remember, keep your opinions. You have your own opinions, and that's fine. And that's beautiful. But you don't have to be angry about them. You don't have to be confrontational about them. You don't have to be disrespectful about them. But you can have your own opinions.
I think what Elijah was saying was let people, or well, anyway, whatever he had said made me realize that being so opinionated and get angry over somebody else being opinionated and angry is really ridiculous. It's not.
It's a waste of time. Nobody's going to change their mind.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
So to
whatever
fight
it
over
is.
it's the bullies are fighting. Yes.
Thank you, Grendel, for coming through.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, there's a question from Safira in the
Yes.
YouTube.
Greetings.
She's watching via YouTube. She says, I just saw a map of underground bases, military and others. What exactly are they doing down there? Which aliens are with them?
Well, the underground bases have been there a long time, since the 50s. So these underground bases are nothing new, and they're doing the same thing as they have always done. They're military bases, and they're there to do what military bases do. So, and yes, there are aliens helping in some of those military bases, but you will not see them on camera. You will not see them touting themselves around, but there are some in the background. There are some Uyil in the background that have been grandfathered in, and there are some grays, and there are some reptilians, and there are some different species, yes. But if they're working for the military of the United States or any military anywhere, they're just doing what they're being told to do.
Thank you. That was a great answer. That's all the questions I have for you.
All right. We had not many questions today.
No.
So I think all right. Very good. So
Unless you have something else you want to share, but it's always
Well,
a pleasure to have you here.
yes, there are always things to share, but I don't know what things to share right at the moment. The thing is, I'm working for the US government, as you know, so I know about many things that are happening with it. So there are not everything that's happening with the US government is great. Now, I'm not saying that,
Hmm.
but I'm
Okay.
saying that from the leadership positions, in most cases, there's some better positivity coming through. But of course, there's going to be a lot of negative stuff everywhere. So, yeah, I see that too.
Just to answer someone in the YouTube, I saw your questions, Donna. They're not really relevant to Grendel, so I'm going to hold them back. Trinity or Safira said she wants to know what the military, when you say the military is doing what the military does, she wants to know, what does the military do?
They protect. They are there to protect. They are there to handle situations from around the world. There's always threats. There's always things that are happening to threaten the United States and to keep us on our toes. So they are doing what they prepare for these kinds of attacks. They prepare for battle. They prepare for different scenarios in the United States for emergencies and things of that nature. Also, they have been known to come and do rescue missions and things of that nature. So they have a section of the military for that kind of involvement. They also have the intelligence area where they are finding out about what everyone is doing, what everyone is saying, what everyone is preparing for. A lot of people are building things, but they're not talking about it, or they're creating situations and they're not talking about it. So it is the military's way to try to be a step ahead of that, so that we don't have any conflicts, or if we do have conflicts, there will be much less than they would have been if we were not prepared for them. And believe me, the adversary has many different scenarios about how to attack the United States. China, Russia, both of those have their own scenarios on how to infiltrate, become part of, and destroy American views. And believe me, China is behind many of the misinformations that come through, many of the misinformations and negativities that come through on QAnon and such places. And so is Russia. They also feed information to these negative conspiracy theories to destroy and separate people. And they'll hire people to stand up and say, I'm a doctor and I do this. I'm a doctor so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. And they'll give you all kinds of misinformation to mislead the public so that there's fear and separation. So they might have some answers, but the answers that were put before them that they're reading are not the answers that they've ever studied. They just are reading them off of a cue card.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. There's a question from Ian. Go ahead, Ian.
Hi, Grendel. Thank you for being here. I wasn't going to ask this question because you came in the spirit of you bringing good news, but
Hey.
you just actually brought up the subject that was on my mind, and it had to do with specifically China. And so I understand you are currently working with the U.S. military in an intel capacity for what you've alluded to. And so my question has to do with not long ago, the U.S. conducted a series of war games off the east coast of Taiwan.
Yes.
And it was to, play out a scenario in the event we had a war with China. And the conclusion was that the U.S. lost.
Correct.
Are you okay? So it sounds like you are aware of that. So in addition to that, I've been hearing various intelligence officials talking about how China is an existential threat, and we will be at war with China somewhere between as far out as 2035, and some say even as close as 2027. Do you agree with that assessment, or what is your perspective on that?
At this point, the way that things are going and escalating, that is a fair estimation. So, but that does not mean it will stay on this course. It does not mean that it will stay on that elevation and escalation. But right now, China sees a great opportunity because right now the United States has been inundated with fire, drought, earthquakes, weather, Afghanistan, 100 different things are happening to to take our attention away from them. So they see this as a good time to escalate their situation, and they are not prepared yet to attack, but they want it to be a surprise. So they could do anything at any time. But the thing is, they're not prepared for it. Even though we lost that simulation down there in Taiwan, there's a lot of information that came out of that would help us secure a successful reevaluation.
Well, that would be good news, and I guess that's the purpose of conducting such exercises, to find out what the flaws are. Next question I have on that topic, and how there are treaties between countries where if a country is at war, another country jumps in, is obligated to help defend them. My question is, if there is a war between the US and China, would Russia also engage in that war with China against the US?
Well, that is a good question. China and Russia are not exactly best friends, but they could be allies if the right situation came along. Now, what is the right situation? That is the question. We do not know how they will react if China perhaps would start a war, but they would have to see how the war was approached and what the strategy behind it was, because Russia is very good at strategy, and they would have to see where China's strategy is, and they would know that pretty much by where it was attacked, how it was attacked, and what success they had in doing it that way. So, but remember, we're preparing for a counter strike. We're not planning to attack China. We're planning to counterattack, meaning that if they attacked us, we know where we're going to go and what we're going to do. But the thing is about that, Russia's going to pay attention to all this before they jump in.
Right. And do you expect that this conflict is going to ignite over Taiwan and escalate?
I don't think it's going to Taiwan. No, I don't think it's going to be about Taiwan. They're going to talk big about Taiwan, yes, but they're not going to act on Taiwan because Taiwan is not their target.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you very much for answering that. You provided some good insight.
Very well. Now, if they do attack Taiwan, it will only be a guinea pig to take your mind off of where they're really going to attack.
Interesting. So it's just a distraction.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
But anyway, it is what it is. We have our intel on all of this. We know what they're up to, and of course.
I have a question. Would it not just be more of an economic war? From what I understand about China, they've spent more money involved in investing in their own technology versus militarily. And it seems that their war would be won on an economic level more than an actual shoot 'em up level.
Well, take this into consideration. They're already that way far ahead of us in the industrial and technological fields. So what is their next goal?
Well, I mean,
the next goal is to unify or bring into their possession someplace like the United States where they can actually build and grow, and they feel like their society is already up to speed. Now they want to bring the world up to speed.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
to do that, they might conquer.
Blow it up, you know.
No, they won't blow it up. They want to use it.
So that's why they're buying up so many companies, things like that. That's why when I think about a war, like a ground war, I mean, it would inevitably almost, especially if Russia was involved, almost be nuclear, and nobody wants that. There's nothing to gain.
Well,
so I had the impression that it was technologically, this was the.
Well, they're far beyond us technologically.
No, but I'm just saying that's why they could hurt us. Technologically, yeah. That's why they continue to hurt us. That's why they sowed these seeds of division and all of these things. And,
yes.
and so if they wanted
would like
to take
us
us over,
to
crash.
Implode.
Yes,
they would like us to implode. They would like us to our whole world to implode upon itself, so that it would be an easy takeover technology-wise. So yes, that is one way that they are planning, but they have other strategies too if that doesn't work.
I see. Okay. All right. I do need to see if there's any other questions in YouTube about this. 1 second. Okay. Forward Motion says, are the cabal messing with the weather at the moment, especially what happened in New York recently?
The weather is being manipulated, yes, but remember this, it's easier to manipulate now because of global warming. Global warming does exist. That's why you're seeing the western part of the United States dry up and become a desert. The same thing happened many centuries ago in the north part of Africa. It had a lot of water there at one time. It was filled with lakes and streams, and the Nile was very wide. Well, they went through global warming at that point, and it dried up all the lakes and everything, and there's still a desert at this point. So that was the end of the rule of Pepe, the last pharaoh of any note.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And that was all the questions we had for you, Grendel.
Very well. I will bring someone else then. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Much
Right,
love.
right. All right, now I have to get out of here. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Greetings, I am Michael.
Welcome, welcome, Archangel Michael. Barbara had a question for you, but now it's been answered, but there are some questions that you could answer that I have from the YouTube chat. And if anyone else has a question for Archangel Michael, you can type it in the chat. Barbara, are you okay for your questions? You said you just don't want to skip you if you've changed your mind.
I don't think I asked for Archangel Michael. I
Oh,
don't
who
have a
asked for,
question.
I'm sorry, who asked for Archangel
No
Michael?
problem. Hi.
Hi.
Greetings.
It's me, Luba. I did ask.
Oh,
But
okay.
hello, Michael.
All right.
Greetings, Luba.
Greetings, dear. Yeah, my question was answered right by Elijah, which was great teaching. I always appreciate it so much. But if I may, to ask you, how can we call upon you? If you have any advice or any tool to give it to us, because it's a really difficult time right now. And no matter how much you staying away from negative news, it's just impossible. It's really impossible, I would say.
I understand that.
So if
It's
there's
the way you
anything
look
we
at
can do.
it, yes.
Yeah. So can you spare any words on that?
Well, first of all, negative news will always be here and has always been here. But it's the way that you look at it and how you can use it to bring positivity to your own world, because look for the people that are helping with the situations and look for the positive portions of it. The next thing is that, yes, they're a way to get a hold of the angels, although the karma of the earth is very dark right now. You must understand it was a gray sort of thing at one point, but now it's getting even darker. So to call us, please speak out loud and call our names. We will sometimes be able to hear in certain areas people that just think our names, but those are the areas with less pollution and less karma in the area. So if you are in an area with a lot of karma, with a lot of people, please call us out by name and we'll be there. You may not feel us right away, but believe that we are there to help. Some people have not felt us, but had gotten their relief they need when they called our names. They said, I didn't feel you, but our prayer was answered. I didn't feel you, but this happened and I know it was you. So just keep faith. Know that we are there and that if there is anything we can do, we will do it.
I'm sure you are busy with Earth right now.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I thank you for that. And if I can have another personal, actually, healing request for one of my friends, his name is Marcel, and he has a high glycerin in his blood. He doesn't know why. Is there any reason? Can you look up to it, please? Thank you.
I will look into it. Yes.
Thank you. That's all.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Much love.
Thank you
Much
so
love
much.
to you.
I have a question for you that I'd like to ask, because you
Sure.
talked about if anyone calls on you, you will come. Is that correct?
That is true.
So if anyone calls on you, is there any chance that something else would come in place of you?
If I'm being called by hundreds of people at once, you mean?
No. So if someone were to say call on archangels, demons and negative energy cannot come in your place. Is that correct?
That is correct, because you are not calling them.
Exactly. So just that was just my question, because there was an instance where someone thought something else had come, but if archangels are called, archangels are what come. That's correct. Yes.
Yes, only if you call on archangels, archangels come.
Okay.
If you believe that we are there, we are there. If someone sees something other than an archangel when we arrive, then it is within their perception, something negative is happening with them and not with us.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Yes, I do have two questions. I'm going to come back to the room, but there was a question that's been waiting since the beginning of the webinar. It was for Mother God, but I figure you can ask this. And this is a really good question. It's from Donna. She says, why does God need to feel more suffering? How many billions of times does he or she need to feel pain to understand it?
It is not that God needs to understand suffering anymore. It is that you as individuals need to understand it. God is not in charge of the suffering of the world. That is not where he has come in. The negativity has caused the suffering of the world, but you are to overcome it and learn to use God to defeat it. Many humans have not yet learned how to defeat the negativity. It is not God that needs to feel more suffering. It is humanity that needs to learn to overcome what is wrong and evil and negative and suffer. They must learn how to deal with it. God already knows what it is like to suffer, and God already knows what it is like to feel the pain. But you as individuals and people of his making are still not able to overcome what he did not create, because you do not call on him. You do not use him enough. You do not call on the angels enough, or Jesus, or Buddha, or any of the great gods enough to overcome what is here. And so this is your lesson, not God's lesson.
Okay.
He allows it because he wants you to learn how to overcome, how to be strong, powerful, and part of a realm that is immensely beautiful and loving and compassionate. But if you cannot overcome your own creation, your own negativities, your own what you've created for your planet, then why do you wish? I don't understand why people would blame God for the suffering.
Well, it's the people that create the suffering, not God.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
It's a good question, though, because there's this perception that God, because I understand the question, because there's the truth of the reality that all experience is wanted, all experience is welcomed. It doesn't mean it's preferred.
Correct.
But the fact that it can and
The thing
does
is,
exist is a
He will
possibility.
pull you out of it. You must believe. Your faith is waning if you do not believe. God has pulled many people out of many negative situations because they've called on him, and the power of and their belief is strong. So he pulls them out. But many people will call on God only as a last ditch effort. And that is not when he works the best.
Understood. Thank you very much. Okay, there's a question from, let me go back to the right chat here. There's a question from Joan. Go ahead, Joan.
Greetings, Archangel Michael. I have a question about my dream. I dream about giving birth at the spirit world, and I see the baby, but in this human form, I'm not pregnant, but can you explain that to me? How why I give birth on the the
Why
astral?
you give birth in this dream?
Yes.
Many of people's missions are their children. If you have a mission that's very important to you, it's like giving birth because it is painful to get it started. It's hard work and you must really be dedicated to it. Now, many people do not see their missions as children, but it is. They must work on their missions. If you allow your child just to do whatever it wants, then your mission is not on target. But if you guide and direct it, and make it understand, make your mission understandable, make it move forward in a very positive way, then this is your mission that you are birthing.
I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry,
Are you
there's a
there?
question from Susan. Yes, go ahead, Susan.
Greetings.
Greetings, Michael. Much love to you. I heard recently through another channeler that once humanity reaches like a 2/3 tipping point of individuals deciding against all of the negativity going on the planet and choose a more positive direction, that will then speed up disclosure on the planet about what's really going on over the next, between now and the end of this year or into like next spring. And one of the recommendations was for groups of individuals to get together and do either global meditations or group meditations to focus on unity and community, and that will help speed up the disclosure process. Can you provide any insights more about that?
Disclosure and the way of the world are two different things. If you were to wait for 2/3 of the world to become positive and turn away from evil or negativity, you would have a long wait. But in order to bring disclosure, that will come sooner because more people will be able to believe with proof that aliens exist and things could move forward faster than 2/3 of the world becoming positive. So yes, I would pray that 2/3 of the world would become positive soon, but you are not seeing the world from where I am seeing it, and that does not look possible very soon. But we are still working on it, and it could happen because God is a God of miracles. But disclosure will happen before that.
Okay, but will us coming together in unity and putting out, in like smaller groups or larger groups, like global meditations, will that have an effect to bring about disclosure quicker?
Yes.
On the planet. Okay.
So the thing about this is when you get together with groups to have prayer and thought processes, pray for peace on earth, because that is also praying for disclosure. Pray for love and guidance, because that is also praying for disclosure. Pray for all the positive things to happen, 2/3 of the population to become positive, because that is also part of disclosure. So all your positivity, even though disclosure will happen first, because it's not all about positivity, but it is about belief and understanding. But it still will help the world if you pray for peace on the earth.
Okay. And then I have a second question, if I may. I was gonna ask a new Earth dragon about this, but I understand there's a species of dragon, new Earth dragons, that were birthed from Gaia to help build the 5D matrix and work on the ley lines for the new Earth. Do you have any information you can provide us about the work that they do?
This dragon population is working directly with the grids. They are called the Jandor. They are created from the prayers of the universe, basically, that the positive dragons would actually come to help with the situations on this planet. And so it is part of galactic and universal prophecy that they arrive.
Beautiful. And yeah, I think that's a good start to understanding more about them. So thank you. Much
You're
love.
welcome.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. There's a question. Let me see. I have questions in the, oh, Susan. Susan, you just asked. Never mind. Okay, one moment. I've got two windows, so I have to go back and forth. All right. This is another question about when Elijah was here, he was talking about we have to love everyone and accept everybody. And someone made the comment about what about those that are, killing maybe in the name of God for directly related. I mean, how are we supposed to love those that ideologically are so very different and to the degree where they will kill you if you say show your face in public, this is specifically referring, I believe, to what's going on in Afghanistan and the takeover of the Taliban and what's happening to women now. And I'm not sure I want to accept that kind of person.
Remember that God created every single person, no matter what they are doing.
Right.
There is a part of God in every single soul that exists in your planet, on your planet, and in the universe. So you are to love that part of them that is part of God. You are to look at each individual as someone that God created. And even though they are hateful, and even though they have covered over that part, which is the God part, they are still created by God. They are still a part of what God has done. And so if you love them rather than hate them, does that not give them a chance to change? Does that not give them a chance for you to be an example to them? Look at some of the examples through history. Christ, who suffered on the cross. Everyone around him was hating him, but he died for them so they could see his example. About Joan of Arc, or any of those that have been martyred in anyone's name. They stood up and said that they would not denounce God, that they would not denounce his goodness, and so therefore became an example in history of someone that stood up for goodness, kindness. And guess what? That example lives on in history, because that is what you hear about the saints and the people that were in every culture that gave up their lives for something good, gave up their lives for someone else, gave up their lives for God. These people have stood up to the negativity and evil. So they showed love for God in doing so. And as doing that, they were actually being a witness or an example to the people that were killing and persecuting them. Do you think not that the people that killed them later thought about this and said they were willing to die? They were willing to die. And some of them would say, how foolish. They were willing to die. But on their deathbeds, call on God to forgive them for all their sins, because they had these examples, because they saw the truth, because they know that God really exists. Remember, God works in mysterious and unfamiliar ways to everyone on this planet. And he can work through those things as well. So love them, send them prayers, ask for God to change them, ask for a situation that they come to that causes them to think about God and about what they're doing. Because hatred is not of God. And they give hatred the name of God sometimes. Like the different kinds of beings that exist on your planet saying, I'm killing in the name of God. But that's hatred of what God has made.
Yeah. There's a favorite Bible verse that I have that changed my life when I was really young. And it says, it's 1 John 4:20, and it says, if a man says he loves God but hates his neighbor, he's a liar. For how can he love God who he has not seen, but hate his neighbor who he has seen? And his neighbor is anyone, across the world in any form.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right.
So he does not, those who hate do not love God, but they have God in them. They have just chosen to cover him up with hate.
Mhm.
But in the judgment, in the hereafter, that will be targeted and it will be brought forth.
Okay. Thank you. All right. There's another, let's see. There's another question that says, and this is something you can answer. Wait, I lost it. Is it, okay, this is from Cami. She says, is it reasonable to worry that automatic writing could bring troubles or unfriendly entities into one's life? Does one need protection?
Always pray for protection, but you will be able to tell by what you are doing, how you are feeling, what kind of writing will come forth. If you feel the great positivity of inspiration and things, how could negativity possibly work through that? But if you feel that darkness on you, then I would not write. I would pray instead.
Okay. Well, I think people do the automatic writing because they're trying to connect with their higher selves. They're trying to sort of, channel.
They can connect in a very positive way.
Yeah.
The automatic writing is a positive thing if you let it stay positive. You bring in the negativity. It does not just come in on its own. There has to be something within you that draws it.
So a prayer protection, how would that go? How would you do a prayer? Can you give an example for Cami?
Yes, dear Heavenly Father, please protect me now, for I am going to call on the Spirit to help me do automatic writing. Please let all truth and positivity be part of this and help me to learn what it is that I need to know. Much love and many prayers and blessings to you. I love you, O Lord. Amen.
Amen. Perfect. Great. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. There's a question that says, this is a nice one. It's from Highway. It says, I lit my candle in the shower. The light transmitted wisdom. And after a while, the flame came out and made me realize the wave exiting resembled a soul in the body. Does the candle have a soul?
The candle does not have a soul, but it represents your soul if you give it that representation. Now, you can learn many things from things that do not have souls. The majestic mountains, the power of the water. You can learn many, many things from the things around you that many believe to be soulless. But God's hand is on all things. He may not put a soul in the candle, but he may put his energy and his wisdom in it at that moment so that you can understand him a little better.
So you would say the soul has consciousness, but not necessarily a soul because of the candle has consciousness because it is part of all that is and all that is being God. So there is a
Correct.
consciousness, but not necessarily a soul.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Jorma asks, are the Galactic Federation of Planets going to intervene because of, no, this is the assumption of because of the vaccine genocide, and are medbeds coming too? What is the timeline on that?
First of all, they're not going to interfere with what man made, no. And if you think that it is a genocide, then you're reading very negative things and you're listening to people that are reading off of a piece of paper information that is not necessarily true. Millions and millions have gotten the vaccine and are not dead. So it is, and you have people predicting that in the future, people will die. How do they know that? Is that something God said to them? No, it's not. So there cannot be a prediction of death where there is none. Now, let me tell you this. There are many things that are happening. What was the second part of the question?
The question was, are there medbeds coming soon?
The medbeds are already here. Not very many of them are on the planet, but there are medbeds on the planet. They're out of phase. The reason for that is because the governments were trying to backwards engineer them for negative purposes and not for positive purposes. So they took them out of phase with the population because they did not want the governments to have this kind of technology. Now, they are planning to bring the medbeds back into phase at some point, but I cannot talk about that right now because I do not have a time point for that. It is when things calm down with the medbed situation. They're still looking for them, but they cannot find them. There's many out there giving them, telling them, oh, there's a medbed here, oh, there's a medbed there. There is none on the earth that can be found at this moment because they're out of phase. But there's still people telling lies and trying to make the government go here and there looking for them. So it will be that way. This is the way of this world. So, but do not get caught up in the idea that this vaccine is a genocide. That is a very negative thought process. And it's an opinion because it is not happening. You may have many people saying, oh, look at all the things that it's done to me, but there are a few people out of millions and billions.
Perfect. Okay. There's a question from, where did your question go? From Daniel. He says, my question, is there any being in creation capable of creating a universe?
That is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Only God creates universes.
Correct.
And if there were other beings, and also he made it so that Lucifer, his first angel, could also create universes. But other than that, there is no other.
Okay. All right. Lena says, how is our present world situation going to be resolved and when will it be resolved?
There is a timeline for resolution, but it depends on the actions of the world, the people in it. If they unite and bring love and guidance to the world, then it will unite faster than if they become hateful and disjointed and separated. How can anything get done when they're not working as a team?
Right. Okay. Thank you. There's a question from EP wants to know, is there a good way to lower blood pressure?
Yes. You can pray about lowering blood pressure. You can take deep breaths and let them listen carefully. When you take deep breaths, you're changing the chemical releases in your brain. With deep breaths, you are releasing melatonin and things of this nature into the system, whatever the scientists say or not, we know this to be true. It's a small amount, but it is happening because it is relaxing the body. It's starting to bring relaxation to the body. With relaxation comes lower blood pressure. Also, if you are having higher blood pressure, you can lay hands on yourself. Everyone has a certain amount of healing energy in their hands, and you can lay with your hands on your chests, one on top of the other. It can't be seen, I guess, from this view, but I would suggest that they send energy to it and love and beauty to their bodies.
Okay, thank you.
But God can also answer that question. And there are many healers out there as well.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. And let's see if I missed any questions. Oh, Bertel wants to know, should every country have gold-backed currency? And is quantum economics the future? Much love.
Yes. All right.
Mhm.
It depends. Yes, everyone should have the same backing for their currency. That way it makes it easier for exchange. So yes, having that makes things much easier for the world. Even though you have different kinds of currencies, having a gold-backed currency does give you an equal playing field for exchange. All right, that part. Now, quantum technology has not become part of your world yet. And whenever that becomes part of your world, you will see that there are good and bad things about that as well. So yes, it will eventually become something. Bitcoin and all those cryptocurrencies will evolve into something even higher, and some of them will fade out and phase out, but some of them will last. But some of them will also evolve into something else and change.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And let me just go back. Oh, there was a beautiful question from Senezen, originally directed to Mother God, that was, is there any great message for humanity at this time? Mhm.
The greatest message for mankind is to love one another. The greatest message for this world is to unite and to exercise your freedom to love, your freedom to group into communities of love. Start getting together to pray. Start getting together to worship. Not necessarily, I'm not talking about worship such as a name of a different religion, but come together in God's name, for he is there. And there are many religions out there that God does shine through with the right leadership, but there's others that are dead as a doornail because of the leadership as well. So you must be able to tell the difference.
Okay, thank you. And then the last question from the YouTube chat, and then we'll return to the other, was how many gods are there? And
There
just
is
how
one
many are
true
there?
God
Yeah.
that powers many other gods. The reason for this is this. Let me tell you why. Not one person, everyone is different on this planet. Everyone has their own personality. Everyone has their own way of believing. And so these different personalities that God sends onto your planet, such as Vishnu or Krishna or Buddha or Confucius or Guru Nanak or whoever it is, they will have, or Muhammad, they will all have a perspective that someone can find, that someone will be able to find God through, that will be able to be an intercessory for someone to reach God. And that is why there is only one God. The one God of the Muslims is the one God of all. The one God of the Christians is the one God of all. The one God of the many gods of the Hindus is the one God of all, because that's all his personalities stretched out into many personalities. You understand that there is only one creator, but he has many personalities, or he has many facets to his personality, not many personalities necessary, but facets to his personality that are unlimited. And so why not have many gods? If someone can relate to this one and get to God through that one, then it is welcome. If someone can relate to him through Muhammad, then it is allowed, and it is a beautiful thing for them to relate to God through Muhammad, or through Confucius, or through Guru Nanak, or through whoever. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, perfectly. Thank you. Perfectly. There's a question from Joan, and she wanted to understand, what is the twin energy? And I don't know if that's twin soul energy or if that's just human twin energy, but maybe you understand
There
more.
is twin energies as seen in science. All right.
All right.
First of all, let's talk about that. It's quantum entanglement. I'm going to be a little scientific right at the moment.
Perfect.
Twin energies such as quantum entanglement, if they, no matter what distance they are apart, if you touch this one, the other one feels it, no matter where they are in the universe. All right, that's a quantum entanglement. If you spin this one, that one will spin, no matter how far away it is, no matter where it is in the universe. If it was just sitting there, if you manipulate its twin part, it will also move. So there is such things as these twin energies, right? This can happen with the soul as well, because how does it happen with the soul? Because there are many quantum entanglements within the human body, within all the bodies of the universe. There is ways to see quantum entanglement within the body. When I touch my finger, it goes to the brain and already back to my finger. That's a quantum entanglement of some sort, because it's instantaneous. You understand that, right? All right. Now, with souls, there are some souls that have been separated in a certain energy of the universe that causes these separations, and it becomes a twin soul. So no matter where it is in the universe, it is part of this one soul. And you will know that they are the one soul when they come together. They are exactly alike. They cannot be separated. It becomes one. They even speak together. They can think together. They are one soul. Now, these twin energies are usually separated by long distances, even universes. So it is possible for them to exist, but sometimes it is best that they do not unite, because it is too powerful of an entanglement that way, because it's right here that entanglement is existing on top of itself, which may not be healthy.
Okay.
Now, not to say that there has not been some of these entanglements happen and been reunited. There has happened. It has happened, but it doesn't happen that often.
I see. Okay, perfect. Thank you so very much. I just want to see if that's the last of the questions there. Oh, let me just 1 second. I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get back. Okay, that was it. That was all the questions that I had for you. If there's any other questions from anyone, please write them now. We've got time for about one more question, if anyone has time. There was one question in the YouTube that asked, where did you come from? How were you developed? And I think that's more along the lines of, where did God come from? Where did God?
God has always been. He is energy and always has been energy. And the energy was always sentient in some way, but not knowing itself. just as when you are a child, when you are an infant, you are not really knowing yourself yet, but the energy is there. You are still there. And at one point, unknown time quantities away, that's the way God was. And for a very vast and long period of time. But where we came from was that energy becomes matter, light, sound, and all things. From energy comes all things. You can create matter with energy. You can create light with energy. You can create everything with energy. And from that energy, he created. So this is how we came along as well. We came well before many planets and universes. And so we are very old in thought processes and understandings, but yet we are happy working with the God that is so good, beautiful, understanding, loving, caring. He is amazing. When you are out here, you will see him in a different way.
So, question for you, since you are created just as we are created, and God is not created, God has always been, always will be. And do you have memory of the first moments of your existence?
No. We had to be actually, he created the angel, he formed it, he put it into being with all the physiology and everything. Then he put the thought process in, and we were then understanding, after he told us who we were, what we were to do, then we could understand. Yes.
But you don't have sort of a remembrance of like your first.
I remember when he
Incarnation
was
day.
telling us, yes.
Yes.
When he told us who we were and what we were doing, and he went into each one of us separately and gave us purpose and meaning. It was a beautiful thing. Yes.
Okay, great. Francesca said in the chat, she sent a question. I don't know where she sent it. Please type it in the chat, Francesca. Or Francesca. Okay, it was just interesting because if we're all really God, right, and we're all part of the all that is, then as we were created within the all that is, there would be a moment where we were not, and then we were. And so I guess our only previous memory would it be of that of being completely God. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So truly
yes.
wake up as souls. We don't wake up as like Karen waking up. We wake up as, oh yes, I'm God. And you just then are literally reabsorbed into the oneness. And
Yes.
there is no Karen anymore. There is only the memory of having had an experience as Karen, but not necessarily Karen's soul now is a fully enlightened being. It's more like you wake up and you are a God again.
In some ways, yes.
Okay.
It's a little more complicated than that, but yes, in some ways.
All right. I always had the feeling if you wake up, truly wake up, you cease to be as a human because you would be.
That would be true. You would cease to be a human if you're fully enlightened into the, because as those become more enlightened, they move up into the next realm, and then they learn about that realm and then move up beyond that. You see, you're just learning, but you choose your realms sometimes for different reasons, and that is allowed.
But there will come a moment where all beings are in full remembrance of their true divine nature, and therefore it will be just again God sitting there going, okay, do I want to do this all again? Is that correct?
Well, yes, that is correct. But for now, he's still creating.
Okay, thank you. All right, I don't see any other questions in the YouTube chat. So much love to you. So amazing to have this conversation with you.
Amazing, loving all of you and wishing you all good things. And believe me when I say this, I do not say anything out of discordance with you. I just want you to learn the love that is there for you. and give you the greater understanding of how God sees things.
Great.
Much love to you.
Much love to you.
Hello?
Hi,
Hi.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice session today.
Good.
Good. So we're gonna end with some blessings. We'll have David do a blessing. Does anyone else want to do a blessing? Say me.
I can do another one. This is Susan.
Okay, if someone else who hasn't done one.
Or, yeah, unless anybody else wants to.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll do David and Susan. Okay, great. All right.
Announcements too.
David, ¿dónde está? There he is. Aquí, you have to say.
Yes, sir.
Está pasando. Okay. Healing, for love, for peace. Mia ro atarian je kutoria. Sira ato kokiasa ma achechi worangi tiare tietu kuriana anan ye tiare kukuisha. Chian je ma atiaro okukiwa. Shera tura katsanjara kama ani ro okuku turi atia tia shukuku ma aniane etiweta. Rukia shanja atetewe. Peace, love, blessings.
Allow the light to constantly shine on you. Bring it into your system, bring it into your thought process, bring it into your meditations and prayers. The light is there, but some cannot see it for they are too focused on the darkness. So bring light into there, shine a light into the darkness. You cannot look into the darkness and find light, but you can look into the light and eliminate the darkness. Much love.
Much love. Thank you. Susan.
Tia sikutuia, sikutuia tia, kutuia sikita kuia, sikututia tia, tikitia. Kuia, sikutuia, sikutuia tia, kuia, sikutuia, sikutia, tuia, tikia, tukutuia, tikutia, tikia, sikutuia, tia, tukuia. Isiko.
Consider the beauty of the planet, how you love it. Consider the animals and the plant light, how beautiful. But then consider one another, how apart you are. Consider that you can be at one with everything, just like you are at one with the earth and the sky and the plants and the water. Be one with one another. Integrate, become a community, love each other. Do not separate, but work together so that power of God can be seen in the world and make a great light and a great understanding for all mankind.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you. Angie, do you have some announcements?
I do have an announcement.
Okay.
The upcoming class that is next scheduled is the White Magic Level 3. We are limiting this to a 20 participant just to make sure that everyone has ample time to ask questions and learn the material. If you're interested in level 3 White Magic class, please email classes@hucolo.org. The class is scheduled for Saturday and Sunday, October 23rd and 24th, from 1:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, and the cost is $175. Again, classes@hucolo.org.
Thank you so much. All right. So next week, I'm not sure who's channeling yet. It will be a surprise, or we don't know, but keep watching for the announcement, but it'll be someone great, I'm sure. And in 2 weeks, Jim will be back. So yay for that.
Thanks.
I'll tell you what, next week is September 11th. And if we don't have someone to channel, we will do a short light meditation for the planet, for the memory of 9/11, and maybe we can bring some positive energy in that way with using all of our Hucolo power that we have. So our human colony, we are a human colony. So let's maybe send some energy to that. So, all right. We will see you next week. Please like and subscribe on the channel. If you're not a member of the Hucolo Club, for $10 a month, you get to be in the room every week with Jim and all the other different channels. And we would like to invite you. So it's pretty good, $10 a month for 4 hours of channeling and all the questions you can cram into this periods of time. So we love you all. Thank you, everyone in the YouTube chat. Thank you, everyone. And we will